and I've remained somewhat silent. So tonight, I'm not going to be silent. And I guess the letter to the editor is what's triggering my comments. So I'm just asking us collectively, individually and collectively, to choose our words carefully. Our approach in calling into question how we do things, how we've done things, how we're going to do things going forward. I think we do need to present a more positive image. There's nothing wrong with changing the way we do business. We should be looking at that constantly, and we do. We have been over the years. We've been evolving significantly, made some significant progress. But I think of late, in the last year or so, our approach has changed. And I just think we need to be reflective on that. I'll just ask my fellow board members. I'm going to try and keep myself in check. I would ask the same of you. And just think about it. And if you want to have another in-depth discussion about it later on, I'd be more than happy to do it privately. If you think we need to do it publicly, we can do that too. But it was the letter to the editor tonight that triggered this right now. So I just think when we have someone in the general public reacting like that as a result of whether they read it in the newspaper or watched it on cable TV, we've done something wrong. Because nobody here was questioning anybody's motives, intentions, or even inferred necessarily, or meant to infer that there was any activity that was blatantly wrong that should result in some type of major action to be taken against an individual. But I can see where they got it. So it's our responsibility, and I just think we need to be more cognizant of it. And I, for one, will be trying to police myself. Again, going forward, if I feel that some of our comments get a lot online, I intend on speaking up. Just say, let's throttle it back and say it a different way or something. So I'm just asking us to reflect on it a little bit, think about it, and let's do a better job. Only good can come from it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I want to thank you, Steve, because I've left a few of these meetings very frustrated lately, and I think it's the tone. It's a negative tone that's got to change. So I ask with you, the entire board, to think about that. Think about what we're saying, how we're saying it. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't be diligent and shouldn't be questioning things. It's just the tone of how we're doing it is wrong. We did have a financial planning team meeting this week. It was kind of an unusual meeting. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 8:15 in the morning. And I tried to figure out whether that was good or bad. There's been no change in the revenue plan as of yet. Obviously, the governor's numbers, depending on which side of the fence you're looking at, you could say they were good because there weren't any further cuts, or you can say they were bad because there wasn't any further state aid for Chapter 70 schools or unrestricted state aid for the town. I think there's a little more road money coming, but that's about it. Greg talked about the health insurance. Currently in the revenue plan is the 8% increase, and we're going to work hard to bring that down because we are really facing a difficult 2013. School ARE funds are diminished.
None left.
There's none left.
They've evaporated.
Debt stabilization fund is down to the point where we can't use it to help fund our, help fund the debt payment, and therefore our operating budget's going to feel that. I suggest everybody get on the phone and talk to our legislators and see if we can get them thinking a little bit. I'm sure other communities are in the same boat to increase, try to get an increase in our state aid, which would help. And I've also suggested that we look seriously at our spending the rest of the year for both school and town. At the interest of having some additional money to roll into fiscal 2013 to minimize the impact on our services as a result of lack of funds. And then we've talked about some initiatives in the past few weeks, and even tonight several. And you know, I'd like to see some of those move forward, and I think we're going to have to come up with some clever ways of finding how to balance new programs with some of the existing programs that we have. The other comment I want to make is, you know, we did meet with the Reading Light Board, and you know, we talked about these wrecks, and it's been in the paper. I just had a thought, and I don't know if I mentioned it last meeting or not, but what I heard from those people who are on the side of wanting to retire the wrecks is that by retiring the wrecks, other users of energy or electric companies that aren't meeting their goals get punished. And from an environmental point of view, that's a good thing. At the same time, if we sell the wrecks, the communities involved are going to have some additional money, which could be reflected in lower rates. But there's a middle ground, and the middle ground, and I wanted us to think about it, because hopefully we'll have a conversation with Reading Light people before they make any further decisions on it, is if we sell the racks and apply that money to the towns uniformly for example, lead street lights or things like that, then in my mind, we're contributing to the environment, we're helping the environment out, and we're keeping it within our own community rather than just let it go away. So we're taking that money, and you know, those that are counter arguments saying, well, we're letting someone else off the hook. At the same time, we're reducing our whole carbon footprint, and perhaps even as a result of a lower cost, maybe provide additional lighting in those areas that we shut down many years ago. And that would be to the benefit of the citizens from a safety point of view. So just something to think about. There may be other things that could be done too, but I think there's middle ground here, and I think we should, when we meet with them, talk about the middle ground.
Yeah, I think you should engage Mr. Rogers, and you know, because again, you mentioned it at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, and I embrace the same concept and idea that you're proposing. But we need to, at some point, you know.
You're welcome to comment.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just say my understanding from discussions with Commission is the Board of Commissioners is that money would actually have to go back into the rate base. So we wouldn't have the option of diverting that money even to a good cause like that. We can do that with other funds, or Reading Light can do that with other funds.
Why would it have to go back to the rate base?
Just because of the way it was structured. And on your other point about the I mean, this isn't about punishing others, punishing utilities that have to comply with renewable electricity standards. This is really about driving them to do what we need them to do, which is develop new renewable energy. So if we take, and I don't want to get into a lengthy discussion about this, but if we succeed in taking some of that renewable energy off the market, it's almost like a game of musical chairs. They have to go out and build more chairs. Except it's not a game, and it's not chairs that we want them to build. We want them to build the sustainable energy future that we all know, and it's in that LEAP, you know, the application for the LEAP grant. We all understand that this is the direction we want to go in. So what the opportunity here is to help drive the development of more renewable energy, and that's what we're doing by retiring those recs. That's what we want to be doing.
I guess I don't want to debate it too much, because we'll talk offline, but to me, you know, we're talking from what the commission hearing meeting that we went to, we're talking $30 million just for Reading Municipal Light.
Don't believe those numbers.
But they didn't deny it either over the next 15 years. You know,
we're not talking about 1 year. We're talking
over 15 years. But it's still an awful lot of money. So I mean, they made an investment which was a good investment from an environmental standpoint, but no real credit is given to us because we're so small. That being said, there's no requirement for Reading Municipal Light. There's no additional penalties if they do or they don't. It's a good initiative to undertake, but at what cost? Could we be investing that money more wisely, rather than buying these things going forward, if we can't derive a benefit from these? Going forward, would it be better to invest to reduce our carbon footprint here locally unless and until the federal government says, okay, you're down to your level and size of municipal light department where you're required to do it now? And I think that's the discussion that needs to take place. And I think what was, and I understand there was a lot of discussion that took place down in Reading, but boy, we didn't hear anything, and we wouldn't have shown up to that meeting if that woman from Reading didn't email us that morning. It
Next time I'll
stimulated some
make
interest.
sure to email you first.
Well, okay, but again, I think going forward, we're gonna be hearing more from our representative down there too.
I don't think any of us even knew what a rec was until that day,
Yeah,
so I mean,
so-
give us
I'm
an
happy,
idea.
again,
So
I'm
it was-
happy to be a
So
resource on.
there's still an evolving process here as far as educating us, but by the same token, some comments were made, the numbers are pretty significant, and the benefits really to our communities in relation to saying, oh, I feel good, but to the tune of $30 million, I'd rather feel good.
Yeah, just to be clear, and again, I'll go back to the point
Yeah.
that you all made so eloquently with regard to the school building project. That's the type of vision,
I'm with you.
of perspective that you want to bring to this. Look at the ledger, and it's not just about feeling good, it's about making the changes that we all have said
Right, but
clearly
if we can invest, but
want
it
to
depends
see.
on where you want to invest those, and make those changes, and okay, we'll talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.